right, hi again, you guys. This is problem number 3, which is graphing the derivative. So the green is the function, and the red ends up being the derivative. So if I have 2 bumps here, now if you recall, this is where the slope is 0. So since the slope is 0, you're going to have a 0 on the x-axis. Over here, the slope is 0. You're going to have a 0 on the x-axis. Now we're looking to see what happens to the left of this for the function. And if you notice, it's going up. It's positive, which means our graph is going to be up here as a positive. Our derivative graph is going to be a positive value, which is above the x-axis. Then between those two zeros, the function is going down. So the derivative value is negative. So it's going to be somewhere in here. To the right of this 0, the function is headed up. So our tangent is positive, which means it's going to be, the derivative is going to be above the x-axis. So we have this above, that 0, this below, that 0, and this above, which creates that parabola. Now, if you recall, this has 2 bumps, so the green is cubic, goes down 1 degree, and we have a parabola, which is a degree of 2. That's the first one. The second graph. All right. So we're starting with this green one, and if you recall that that is a cusp, you have to be careful there because we don't have a derivative value, which is why we end up with these open circles on the derivative graph. So if you take a look at this, is kind of like the shape of a curve, and we could say that the slope is 0 right here, which is going to give us the 0 on the axis. What then happens is that's positive. So that means that it's a positive up above here. This is kind of starting to go down, which is why I have that little portion headed down as far as the negative value. We're going to have that open circle because that does not have a derivative there. Now, if you look at this part, this is a line with a constant value. So that's going to give us that horizontal line. So the red ends up being a curve from this green information, and that line gives us the horizontal line. So that would be the derivative graph for letter B. All right, let's go to the next page for C. And we have, let's zoom in on this a little bit. All right, we have this green function, and we're graphing the derivative. So the first thing we're going to look at again is where is this slope 0? That gives us, it's horizontal there, it's 0. That gives us that 0. It's horizontal here. That gives us that 0. It's horizontal here. That gives us that 0. So now, what's happening with this? Even though this is above the x-axis, we can still go about the logic that we've used before. So since this is a negative tangent value, we would have this in the negative section below the x-axis. This is headed up, so it's a positive. So between this and this zeros, we would have this above. And then between this 0 and this 0, it's headed down, which is negative, which means our value is going to be below the x-axis. Between here and here, this 0 and continuing on the right side of that, it is headed up and is a positive value. So we are above the x-axis. So we connect all those together and we end up with this cubic. So if you take a look at the original green one, if you notice, this would be a degree of 4. 1 bump, 2 bumps, 3 bumps, you add 1, and it's a degree of 4. And then you'd be subtracting 1 for that derivative, which is a cubic. That is letter C, and that's it. See you guys next time.